Coming to amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein since they combine to form them. So amino acids combine to form protein. Just like I gave you the example of how alphabets combine to form words in the case of carbohydrates. Here we can say proteins building block is amino acids. Okay. Although we can't necessarily say that amino acids are the simplest, you can't break them down further like in the case of monosaccharides. You can break them down further. But for the sake of this example, consider amino acids to be sort of like an alphabet itself. Or if you want another example, um, think of it like the Lego bricks. In your childhood, you had those plastic toy sets where you would put the bricks and you could build a wall out of it, you could build a house out of it. Those sort of plastic Lego blocks is what I'm talking about. So amino acids can be imagined as those Lego blocks which can combine to form protein. Amino acids themselves are of two types. Essential amino acids, the body can't make them on its own, therefore needs to acquire them. This is the exact same thing as essential and non-essential nutrients, right? We learned about nutrients and there we spoke about two broad categories of nutrients, which is essential and non-essential. Essential is those which the body needs but can't make on its own, which is why it must be acquired through the diet. Non-essential are those which the body needs but the body can make it on its own, therefore it's not necessary to acquire it from the diet. The same definitions apply over here as well. Essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. I hope that clarifies what this is. If not, please send in your questions and I will be happy to provide a further explanation. All proteins are not the same and can be broadly classified based on their essential amino acid composition. Now coming to the different types of proteins themselves, just like amino acids can be classified into essential and non-essential, once those amino acids are assembled into proteins, those proteins themselves can also be further classified into different classifications, different categories. Now all proteins are not the same. Okay, so just because we say protein, all proteins are not the same, they are different and they have different properties in the human body. Now how are they classified? They are classified based on the essential amino acids which make them up. Let's learn about these classifications and it will become clearer as we go ahead. So we have complete protein first. The first classification is complete protein. A complete protein is one which contains all of the essential amino acids. So complete and incomplete, the other type is incomplete protein. Complete and incomplete, they're not classified based on what kinds of amino acids are making them. So it's not okay, fine. There are certain essential amino acids and if XYZ combination of essential amino acids makes up the protein, then it's called this category. It's not like that. It is very simple. Complete and incomplete proteins are classified based on the amount of essential amino acids present in them, not the types of essential amino acids present in them. Complete protein is one which contains all of the essential amino acids, whereas incomplete proteins are the ones which contain only few of the essential amino acids. That means some of the essential amino acids are missing. That is what we call as complete or incomplete. With that overview out of the way, this slide will become a bit more easier for you to understand. So complete is which contains all of them. Also known as good or high quality proteins, as they provide all the essential amino acids required by the human body. So your complete proteins are the ones which are, they are known as good or high quality because they provide all the amino acids, essential amino acids specifically, which the human body requires. Because non-essential amino acids are really not that important because those anyways we can make on our own. Therefore, we call a protein as good or mediocre or high quality or bad quality based on the number of essential amino acids they provide. If they provide all of them, it is complete and therefore it is good. Animal-based sources of protein such as milk, eggs and fish are complete proteins. So if you are looking for sources of protein which are complete, a general rule of thumb that you can follow over here is that any animal source of protein can be considered to be complete, which includes milk. Although milk we consider as vegetarian, it is technically an animal source. Milk is not a vegetable, right? So it is an animal source. So milk is a complete source of protein. So are the various products which are made up of it. Your cheese, paneer, curd, they are all going to be also considered as complete sources of protein. And then you have more the more obvious animal products like eggs and fish, which are also complete protein sources because they are directly animal foods. Now let us look at incomplete. Like I mentioned, they are low on or lack many essential amino acids. Most plant-based sources such as grains and lentils are all incomplete protein sources. So if you take any plant-based source, again a rule of thumb over here, take any plant-based source of plant-based source of protein and automatically we can classify it as an incomplete protein because it's sort of a given over here. Does this mean that vegetarian and vegan children will never meet their essential amino acid requirements? The answer is that that's false. Vegetarian and vegan children can meet their essential amino acid requirements. This question arises because vegetarians and especially vegans will consume no animal products at all. Vegetarians, at least depending on the kind of vegetarians they are, like if it is lacto-vegetarians would definitely be consuming milk products, which means that even though they're vegetarian, they do include a complete protein within their diet. Milk products are complete protein, so they will still have at least one or two sources of complete protein within their diets. Ghee will not count because that is majorly fat only. Vegan, on the other hand, will not include any animal products whatsoever. No eggs, no dairy, no honey, none of those. So as a result, they will be relying entirely on plant-based sources of protein, which means they'll be getting only incomplete sources of protein within their diet. So what is the solution for this? Vegetarian children that also consume dairy will find it easier to meet their essential amino acid requirements, like I mentioned. Vegans and non-dairy consuming vegetarians will have to put in more effort. So in the next slide, let's look at in the next section, let's look at the different techniques by which we can make incomplete proteins complete.